Dire team ban.
Hey guys, what's up? Orbit here from the Iron Branch, bringing you day 2, round 6 of the GosuCup Asia, number 5, between Team First Departure as well as Clan Ob. Clan Ob actually
Radiant
beating
team
Mineski in the
ban.
previous round, so definitely a dark horse for this tournament, making it all the way into the quarterfinal. They're a team hailing from Thailand, of course, and the game we saw before with First Departure, the Battle of Singapore, if you will, had some pretty amazing play coming out of Miracle on his clockwork, as well as the Rubik player actually from the previous game, stealing quite a few Sonic waves, which I actually forgot to mention, definitely contributing a lot to those fights as well.
10
Some really
seconds
solid
remaining.
performances coming out of everyone on First Departure, and they're really showing why they are a top contender for
Dire
this
team.
GosuCup Asia. They did, of course, come second in the previous one, so
Radiant
this is
team
going to be a
ban.
pretty important game. It is, of course, a best of one right now. However, the winner of this best of one does go into the semifinals of this GosuCup Asia, which is a best of 3. In terms of bans, some pretty standard bans that you would normally see, with the addition, of course, of the Silencer now that he is allowed into the CM pool. A really strong
Dire
hero that
team
no
pick.
one really wants to deal with. The Global Silence being able to go through
Behold the
BKB
horn
is
of
just
Magnus.
pretty painful.
Radiant
You can
team
BKB
Keeper
out of
ban.
it,
of the
but if you've already
light,
used your BKB, you're silenced for
Phantom
the full
Lancer.
duration. And oh
Dire team pick.
boy, Magnus being the first pick,
Anti-mage.
pretty much immediate follow-ups with the Keeper of the Light and Phantom Lancer, and then a
Radiant
secondary
team
immediate
pick.
follow-up with the Shadow Demon, a support that does incredibly well against that Phantom Lancer, as his disruption kind of scales with the power of the PL, and the Anti-Mage doing some pretty mean work as well there, being able to get his flash farm up pretty much. Caudal PL, pretty much a very standard dual lane, if you will. It, of course, could still be a tri lane, but a combo that's been very prominent throughout pretty much all Dota.
10 seconds
First started to see a
remaining.
little bit of notice in the late stages of 2009. Um,
5 seconds
just pretty
remaining.
much wins every lane. I mean, not necessarily, but very strong presence, at least in
Reserve
the game.
time.
Something interesting to note so far, though, is that neither of those two heroes have really any stun, apart from the mana leak of the Keeper of the Light, but it isn't really a guaranteed stun. So we might see a kind of more utility-oriented hero as the third pickup from Clan Ob. We'll just see what they decide to do.
Dark
They do pick up the Darks here, so that is kind of
Dire team
their
ban.
long lane pick for now. It could, of course, go into the mid lane as well, and very rarely, of course, in the jungle. Some pretty much immediate bans
Radiant
coming right
team
out the way.
ban.
Lone Druid being a ban, very strong ban in the second stage. That's pretty much when we see Lone Druid start to be banned out. Probably not going to see a Lifestealer being banned,
Dire
as
team
both teams
ban.
kind of have their solid groundings for what look to be defensive tri-lanes with the Anti-Mage as well as the Phantom Lancer. Um, and now kind of leaning
Radiant
towards
team
very
ban.
interesting bans, I should say. Considering they do have the Anti-Mage up, banning that Storm
Dire.
Spirit, maybe that's a potential signature hero from one of
Radiant
Clan
team
Ob.
ban.
And finally, the Tinker ban. So some really strong mids being banned out so far.
Dire
Pretty much the
team pick.
4 hyper-aggressive mids, if you will. Storm Spirit, Queen of Pain, Templar Assassin, as well as, I guess, a Tinker once he gets his Boots of Travels up. He can be very, very menacing in terms of positioning and control in the early mid-game. But the ban stage going by relatively quickly for now.
Radiant team pick.
Leshrac being the next pickup, this allows them for a lot of pushing opportunity, as well as some really nice combo presence with that Shadow Demon. Being able to chain the Disruption as well as a Split Earth, pretty much guaranteeing the Split Earth, so long as it is done properly. And that's a really strong tri-lane already. Most likely not going to see an aggressive tri-lane, as the PL is picked up. However, there is a Chaos Knight, actually, so there could be some grounds for a potential aggressive tri-lane here. And then maybe solo safing the PL up against a Magnus. Probably not going to be the case, though, as you do want to ensure as much free farm as possible on that Phantom Lancer. And while we are waiting for the last picks from both teams, definitely check out our Twitter. It's twitter.com/ironbranch, I believe.
10
Let me just double check
seconds
that right now
remaining.
really quick. Yeah. Sorry, the
5
Iron Branch,
seconds
of course. I missed
remaining.
the. But definitely check that out. I'm
Reserve
being chirped a
time.
little bit now in the chat, but that's okay. Waiting on the last pick, of course, now going into the extra time. Most likely going to see an off-lane potential Windrunner pickup, I would say, allowing them for a lot of utility as well as just allowing them to get some experience against a really tough tri lane that could be the PL and a couple more heroes, potentially the Coddle and one more. But definitely check us out. We, of course, also upload all of our videos to YouTube. So if you miss any of these games, last game was absolutely amazing, and I'm sure this game is going to be just as good. Tune in there. YouTube is, of course, youtube.com/ironbranchtv. Check out all our VODs there from the previous GosuCup Asia as well, which First Departure did participate in and took second place there. So if you're pretty interested in how they play and kind of the aggressive mentality and just smart Dota that they play, check that out. Gyrocopter being the last pickup. This is kind of tells me that they are going to go for that Magnus in the off lane. He is going to be relatively okay. Skewer being able to pretty much get out of anything. Gyro mid, really strong hero in the mid lane as well. One of the heroes that does relatively well against it is the Queen of Pain, and that is banned out in this game, so should do pretty well in the mid lane, if that is how they do decide to lane it.
10 seconds remaining.
The other thing that is worth noting, actually, is there could be grounds for a potential
5
aggressive
seconds
tri-lane as well. If they do predict that Darkseer will go into the solo offlane, Anti-Mage does very well against a Darkseer in a 1v1 situation, which would allow them to do potentially like a Shadow Demon, Lesh, maybe Gyro tri-lane, or maybe with the Magnus, if they do want to have an SD and Lesh rotating quite a bit. That's some pretty potent damage to be dealt, and could impede the farm of the Phantom Lancer by a decent amount as well. Waiting on the last pick now for Clan Ob, the round 6 game of GosuCup Asia. They do pick up the AA, so this kind of tells me that they do want to run 2 dual lanes, and I feel like that's what First Departure should be thinking as well. The dual lane AACK has been relatively well known. These are 2 very popular dual lanes, to be honest. PL Coddle as well as AACK, but most likely going to be the CK in the mid lane, and then the PL in the safe lane. And remember, guys, if you do like our content, please follow us. It really does help us out quite a bit. And with each follow, we are able to do more and more, bringing in things back for the community with some nice contests, maybe some future announcements down the road as well. So if you like what you see, you know, try to keep us afloat for now. We'd really appreciate it. But, of course, the game is underway between Ob and First Departure now, the Singaporean #1 powerhouse, I guess we could say, now that they have defeated their rivals in the previous game. Over on the Dire, we do have First Departure, Miracle, the amazing Clockwork player, now playing that Gyrocopter, and it does look like they are opting to go for a potential aggressive tri-lane here. We do have, pretty much complementing this aggressive tri-lane, Lubby playing that Shadow Demon, Hoot A playing the Leshrac. In the mid lane, Polison is going to be playing the Magnus, opting for a relatively quick Bottle Rush build. And finally, the Anti-Mage, pretty interesting build here. His starting build, that was a pretty quick unpause. Going to be played by, oh, my homies. Yeah, I'm going to say that every time.
30 seconds to battle.
Finally, on the Radiant side, we do have, in the top lane, the Darkseer being played by Winter Snow. Saying, you know, a friendly good luck, have fun. As predicted as well, the dual lane of the AACK being played by Safe Save and Sir Vincent, respectively. No real bottle rushing going on from either of them, as well as both having some clarities, looking to be pretty aggressive right now. And finally, Viper on that Phantom Lancer and Juling on the Keeper of the Light, rounding out the safe lane dual lane. Check out the positioning now coming out from the Dire. They want to be pretty aggressive onto this mid lane, actually. Doesn't look like they wanted to. Maybe they were just trying to get up this ward to make sure that no mid pulling could occur. Giving the haste rune maybe to the... No, they do look like they want to have it on the Gyrocopter, which I believe is the right play to make there, as he can get that Rocket Barrage really in their faces with that rune. Is he going to try to rotate into this? Doesn't look like it. A nice defensive ward being used by the Ancient Apparition to make sure that they don't get ganked from the bottom lane, which is where they expect the aggressive tri-lane. However, a nice disruption onto this Keeper of the Light. Keeper of the Light's going to take quite a bit of damage to this Rocket Barrage. He's going to go down. Leshrac with a really nice stun to initiate things pretty much right off the bat there onto that bottom lane. Nont comboed stun as well, catching that Coddle off guard. And that's a really nice first blood. As I wanted to mention from this mid lane ward here, this is especially what the gank path is going to be for the Dire, considering they are aggressive tri-laning. So already fearing a little bit of rotation coming into this mid lane, considering that they should do quite a bit of work to this Magnus. However, I feel like if I were in First Departure's shoes, I wouldn't want to rotate. If only because although CK will be getting a decent amount of farm, Magnus is still going to get some levels as well as CS under tower. And Magnus in a 1v2 situation still does relatively well. Whereas the primary goal of this aggressive tri-lane is to pretty much shut down this Phantom Lancer as much as possible. And really they want to just keep their presence there, make sure that they control the lane as quickly as possible too. In terms of the 1v1 on the top lane, with the CS at least, it's relatively even. Things shouldn't really be too worrisome until a little bit later down the road, but it looks like the Anti-Mage is prepared for what's going to be a pretty big Ion Shell harass. Look at the amount of tangos he has. He started out with 9, now down to 8, of course. And doing some very nice last hitting under tower as well in this top lane. Darkseer, of course, getting every CS as a result of that Ion Shell. And he's going to continue his creep cutting. Magnus hitting level 3 onto this mid lane. Actually, some pings going out. They are going to try to deny this sentry ward and get last hits as well. So Uday playing a great job on that Lesh. I apologize profusely if I do mess up the pronunciation on some of these names. Unfortunately, I can't read minds and know exactly how they want me to pronounce their names. Huda. That's what I'll call him. So some good job so far. Only 2 CS sitting on this Phantom Lancer, whereas the Gyrocopter sitting at a healthy 12 CS. Here comes the Keeper of the Light Illuminate spam. I don't necessarily agree with how they did want to do this. Actually, missed unfortunate split Earth from this Leshrac, but they are going to try to be quite aggressive onto this Phantom Lancer. Look at the damage he's taking from that Rocket Barrage. He is going to go down to the Gyrocopter. Some nice harassment being done by the Illuminate from the Keeper of the Light. Actually, a little bit extra harassment coming out. Oh wow, nice salve by Huda there, playing that Leshrac, making sure he stays alive after an unfortunate movement error, taking an extra 2 to 3 hits from that tower, almost going down there. Actually, AA forced to swing by. Oh no, sorry, those were just his illusions. What am I thinking? But of course, zoning, making sure that the salve is in fact cancelled from that Gyrocopter. That's really unfortunate. So good job there by the AA, making sure that that occurs well. But now look where the creep wave is right now. This is a really bad place for it to be. The Phantom Lancer is not going to be able to get any CS here. And especially considering he did have to buy a TP scroll to come back into lane, it's a little bit of a tough situation for him. Hoot A it is. Magnus now being forced to bottle grow. He does manage to pick up his boots as well, so he's doing relatively well, sitting at 10 CS. Of course, CK has pretty much virtual free farm over in this mid lane with 21 and 8 right now. But Magnus doing a lot better than he potentially should be doing, considering this is such a high impact kill lane. Oh man, Keeper of the Light getting the last hit onto that Centaur. That's going to be relatively important too. Shadow Demon's wave there, just barely missing it. Shadow Poison just a little bit too late. Oh man, look at the aggression coming out of Miracle. Man, he does not want to let up onto this Phantom Lancer, and that's exactly how you have to play against this hero. You really have to shut him down in the early and mid, because he is such a prominent late game hero too. Whoa, that was some pretty interesting aggression there from the Darkseer. Just trying to get that last Ion Shell up to try to get a little bit more CS. Being forced pretty much, is he going to run home from this? It does look like it, actually. So good job by Anti-Mage, just with his extra tangos as well as picking up a relatively quick Tranquil Boots, being able to get some sort of slight advantage in this lane. Normally Darkseers do very well with the creep cutting, but Anti-Mage staying right on par in terms of CS there. So a really excellent job from him. And this is pretty smart. Magnus stacking his easy camp, maybe just so that he can get a little bit more CS there while the creep wave isn't at his tower. He is still getting some levels though, so he's playing very well considering it is a 1v2 lane. That is something a lot of players have a lot of trouble with in the mid lane. Potential 1v2 aggression lanes where you have to play very safe and just kind of forfeit a lot of your CS. But Polison is doing a great job of this. Some spam from the Phantom Lancer using his Spirit Lance to do a little bit of damage onto this Gyrocopter. gyrocopter, of course, picking up his tranquil boot, so he is going to be okay. And actually being cancelled there by the additional Spirit Lands coming out of him. There is one Tango left onto this Lesh. Is he going to give it to the gyrocopter, though? Not too sure yet. But look at this spam right now. Oh man, nice disruption by the Shadow Demon, making sure he doesn't get hit by that Illuminate. That could have done a lot of damage to him. But good job from Lubby, nice awareness. Magnus getting the Invis Rune. He is only sitting at level 5, but it could be enough to potentially gank. He actually looks like he's just going to rotate and take this easy camp. Maybe he's going to hit 6 with this. And if he does hit 6 with this is going to be pretty important too. And it looks like he will hit 6 with this in the end. This is going to be very important. 6 minutes and a half in a 1v2 situation, hitting level 6 as a result of that stacked camp. Really solid performance coming out of Polison so far. Really knows his bounds in this lane. Forcing to use the Doppelwalk there. Actually, really aggressive play coming out of the Lesh. Lesh using his Split Earth as well, trying to hit that Keeper of the Light, as well as the Lightning Storm. They do manage to get the pick off as well onto the Keeper of Light and doing a lot of damage. Oh man, he's actually blocked by the Darkseer. An unfortunate misplay spells the end for that Phantom Lancer. And however, it is at the expense of 2 heroes with a nice teleport from that Darkseer. And on the other hand, Shadow Demon goes down to the Chaos Knight, who also rotated. That was a 5-hero rotation coming out from Clan Ob there. And all 3 heroes, of course, going down, but it was a 2 for 3. And considering that the Magnus as well as the Anti-Mage are just kind of farming at the time being, it's not necessarily a bad trade for First Departure. But good rotation coming out of Ob just to guarantee the kills. Unfortunately, their PL did end up going down as a result of some unfortunate positioning errors. However, they did pick off 3 as a result, so it's bad that their PL went down, but of course it is good that, you know, they got what they came for with that rotation. And the rotation, of course, swinging back into their respective lanes. Darkseer running back. Unfortunately, only level 1 of Surge. He might just wait, stall out a bit, just wait for this 8-minute rune. We'll see if he decides to in the end. Yes, he does. That's a good play from him. And it, of course, does guarantee that they know where the illusion rune is, too. So, smart play. However, he did have to walk all the way back to base. And now PL's kind of sitting in a really unfortunate place once again. Look at the damage onto that Shadow Demon, though. Sitting at less than half health from 1 spell combo. And wow, that PL illusion did a lot of damage to him there. The Surge back from the Darkseer doesn't want to pretty much 1v1 against this Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage doing really well. 53 CS, the leading farmer in the game. No real obstructions going his way here. Oh man, what an aggressive blink. Fortunately for him, those were only AA illusions up on this top lane.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
They do want to make some rotations to CK as well as AA, but once again, Magnus, oh man, actually on this bottom lane, they are looking to go onto this Keeper of the Light. Once again, a really nice spell combo from the from the Lesh, but the rotation, here it comes, and the Chaos Knight doing a lot of damage. Excellent, though, ultimate from the Gyrocopter, slowing the CK down just enough, as well as a great Split Earth and the Lightning Storm. Are they going to be able to get to kill the CK? Doesn't look like it, actually, with the AA rotation, taking away that SD and the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast, guaranteeing the kill as well onto the Lesh. Magnus, of course, having come in, he uses a reverse polarity, catches 2, uses his oh no, doesn't actually use his skewer, doesn't have enough mana for it, pops his magic stick, he does manage to, doesn't get the kill. Gyro picks up the right click there, but Magnus going down, now Gyro running for his life. Really strange kind of back and forth awkward engagements. A nice Split Earth there on the way of that Darkseer, doing a lot of damage as well. The Shadow Demon Disruption comes out. Nice dodge of the Illuminate too, but the Spirit Land's doing some work onto this Gyrocopter. Gyro gonna have to be forced to run for his life. Oh man, the Vacuum comes back, and the Spirit Land's picking up the kill onto the Gyrocopter. He's gonna go down as well, but the Split Earth managing to pick up the Darkseer too. Oh man, Phantom Lands are taking a lot of damage. They actually kill him with that SD ultimate. Great Purge coming as well. Lubby's playing a phenomenal game so far. Some really nice positioning and great coordination as well, with the Leshrac being played by Hoot A. And, you know, PL going down yet again. That's his 4th death in this game. 10 minutes into the game, of healthy 4,000 advantage in favor of First Departure. Looking, you know, showing everyone why they were the 2nd place finisher in the last GosuCup. Some really smart play. Although the Magnus did go down in that fight, he got a 2-man RP and did some really nice work there too. I've got to say, I can't really like chirp anyone really from the First Departure squad here. They're all playing some really strong Dota.
Is under attack.
I mean, check the last hits, for example. 3 out of the top 4 CSers are all on the Dire. Of course, Magnus does have a lot of neutral creeps added to that, but
Dire's
he's
top
doing a
tower
really good
is
job
under
picking up his
attack.
Arcane Boots and getting closer to his Blink Dagger. Actually, they do look like they want to initiate onto this Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage knew something was up. Some
Dire's
really nice
top
positioning
tower
yet
is under
again.
attack.
Running just exactly the right way. Oh, that was a pretty interesting blink, though. I feel like they could have gone on him there. However, Anti-Mage, of course, the 390 move speed compared to the 380 of the Chaos Knight
Radiant's bottom tower
would have been
is
okay
under
in the end.
attack.
Mid lane, Magnus a little bit far up. They do manage to pick up the Keeper, sorry, the Phantom Lancer on the other hand. But looking at this mid lane, the Ancient Apparition's Ice Blast manages to hit the Magnus. He's gonna skewer out onto the high ground as well as TP out. And the vacuum comes out though, unfortunate for him. He uses his reverse polarity. Is he gonna get out? Doesn't look like it. Chaos Knight, nice rotation picking up the last hit. But that was the 5th death now for this Phantom Lancer. Just now picking up his Tranquil Boots 12 minutes into the game, pretty much.
Radiant's middle tower
He is
under
not
attack.
having a fun game. And this Anti-Mage, on the other hand, doing pretty well. 73, 74, now
Radiant's bottom
75
tower
last
is
hits.
under attack.
So some solid last hitting performance there. They managed to pick off this Darkseer potentially. Nice disruption as well. Leshrac gonna hit, once again, a flawless Split Earth, as well as the Soul Catcher from the Shadow Demon, guaranteeing a very easy pickoff. This is really showing the strength of this Shadow Demon Leshrac combo here. Keeper of the Light rotating back into this bottom lane to assist his Phantom Lancer however he can. And he has to quite a bit. I mean, unfortunate for Phantom Lancer not having the best game in the world, for this game at least. Of course, in a super late game scenario, I mean, it is a Phantom Lancer. That Agi growth, guys, that Agi growth could potentially bounce back. It's going to take some really nice coordination coming the way of Clan Ob to make that happen, of course. Considering there is about a 5,000 gold advantage. Not too kind of out of hand yet, though. So that's actually quite important. Oh, on the bottom lane, they are going to potentially catch this Gyrocopter. Running for his life right now. The Spirit Land's being used as well. He is going to use his ultimate defensively. Phantom Lancer running up right above him. What a TP. Is he going to get out? Oh, man, gets out barely. They're going to try to turn this onto this Darkseer. Nice Leshrac Split Earth, guaranteeing that kill. Unfortunately, it looks like Shadow Demon's going to go down. Phantom Lancer getting a much-needed last hit there. Magnus coming in from the side, kind of in no man's land right now, forced to back out. They are going to get the Phantom Lance onto the Leshrac. Leshrac backing out wisely. Some good spam there from the Magnus as well. Is he going to try to skewer out? Doesn't look like he's going to need to for now. We'll see if he decides to in the end. Doesn't look like it. And both the Leshrac as well as the Magnus get out. A-okay. Meanwhile, I mean, Anti-Mage just farming away pretty much. He has the Battle Fury whenever he decides to get it. A 13.5-minute Battle Fury. Oh man, ping's coming out onto this Lesh. They did manage to catch the Lesh out and the Chaos Knight getting the last hit. So some solid performance as well coming out from this Chaos Knight. It's going to be interesting to see what the Chaos Knight actually decides to pick up. Most likely going to be after the drums and armlet, just because of the amount of damage he can do with his ultimate once he picks that up. But he's doing pretty well for himself, sitting at 4 for 1. Interesting positioning there from First Departure. I think that was the first fight that I didn't see some really flawless coordination and performance coming out of them. Magnus felt like he wanted to engage, but at the same time he didn't really want to. They are going to get this Keeper of the Light, however. Nice surge from the Darkseer to try to guarantee the safety of his ally. Not going to cut it this time around. And man, the rich get richer. Look at the gold graph, slowly but surely climbing the way of First Departure in this best of 1 game, the round of 6, quarterfinal game. Looks like they are trying to go onto this mid lane actually. Chaos Knight taking a lot of damage. The Purge being used for him as well. Gyrocopter's still barely alive. Doesn't actually use his drums, just now uses his drums. The disruption going off onto this Darkseer is going to go down. Oh man, barely missing the Gyrocopter with the Ice Blast from the Ancient Apparition. Now Magnus wants to catch someone for sure. Oh, barely missing that shockwave onto the AA. Doesn't look like he wants to try to fight there though. But the Anti-Mage did get the tower in the top lane. He does pick up the last hit as well. So, I mean, as funny as it is, this guy's pretty much a souped up Broodmother style creep. He's 0, 0, and 0. Lots of farm coming his way, but he's doing exactly what they need to do, which is gaining some healthy advantage in map control without even forfeiting like it's risk-free. His team is winning these engagements 4v5, great coordination, and some really nice kind of comboing with the gyrocopter, the Magnus reverse polarity, as well as the two supports playing absolutely flawlessly in this game. Lubby and Hoot Abe just playing, you know, really nice coordinated Dota, showing why the SD Lesh is a pretty strong combo to fear. Generally, you'll see, oh man, actually, hold that thought, a disruption going away. But that's going to pretty much combo this Ice Blast out. It's going to hit the Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon's going to go down most likely. Blink forward as well as a skewer back. Going to catch this Darkseer. But the Split Earth yet again. Great play from Lesh. Getting the kill onto the Darkseer. And they're going to continue this fight. The Chaos Bolt coming from the Chaos Knight. Guaranteeing the kill onto the Magnus. Which is going to be picked up by the Ancient Apparition. So some nice trades coming back and forth from both teams. Buyback actually going the way of the Shadow Demon. He did have a 15 charge wand, unfortunately that he couldn't use it as a result of that Ice Blast in the last engagement. But look at the aggression once again. They're gonna get the Chaos Knight as well. The ultimate from the Gyrocopter. Man, this combo is just doing insane amounts of work. He does pop his drum as well. Doesn't look like they're going to need the stun there for that Ancient Apparition. Instead, potentially going to try to chase onto this Keeper of the Light. He's running. The TP support comes from this Darkseer. Are they going to try to... Oh, they do try to get that Split Earth. It's going to catch the Darkseer yet again. Oh my god, this Lesh. The Purge as well going onto the Darkseer. Doing work. They're diving into this tier 2. 4 heroes down now. And of course, the Phantom Lancer pretty much nowhere to be seen as he is relatively poor, just now picking up his drums, working his way most likely to what's going to be a Diffusal Blade. But on the other hand, where Phantom Lancer is, Anti-Mage isn't. He's sitting and he's split pushing the other lane, most likely going to pick up a tier 2 tower for himself now. 0-0-0, you know, split pushing away, doing exactly what he needs to do, sitting at 140 CS, which is important to note. He's pretty much almost double the CS of the next one, who is also on his team. In terms of gold per minute, though, everyone pretty much on the Dire, just about as good as it gets, really, for that squad. With the exception of Shadow Demon, they're leading the gold per minute charts. Damn. Really nicely played. Like, this is for sure a game that just shows the amount of coordination and what that can do for your supports, as well as just like for your team in general. Even though they don't have that much warding in terms of the jungle, as there has been some nice counter warding coming the way of Clan OD, they have, yeah, that ward that was just shown by Shred just shows the bot lane, making sure that they know any rotation that comes from that lane as well. And that's definitely not something that's going to be picked off for sure. But the warding is exactly how it needs to be for Clan OB as well. They have so many wards up, just protecting their jungle, making sure that they can get whatever farm they can safely. Oh man, Gyrocopter a little bit out of position, the Ice Blast being used, but of course he does actually manage to pick up his BKB, and he's just gonna man the heck up. They are gonna go into this Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight goes down as a result, and they want more. Oh, misses his reverse polarity. That's really unfortunate. Pole hasn't been playing so well until then, but the Shadow Demon, Demonic Purge, manages to tie in with a really nice Split Earth from Lesh, and Magnus with the Shockwave, redeeming himself, picking up the kill onto the Keeper of the Light. But hold that thought, they're going to try to go onto this Phantom Lancer. Is there a gem picked up? There is on this Lesh, so a really early gem, doing work as well. They get the Phantom Lancer too. Absolutely flawless in terms of map control. That's exactly what they need to kind of cement this forward way of thinking that they're playing with. This 4 protect 1, if you so to speak. They don't even need to protect this 1 though. It's doing work onto this top lane already. 0-0-0, 170 CS. This is kind of just like a 4 and then 1 rather than a 4 protect 1. There's no protection going on here. It's just 4. That's what we'll call it. 4 play. Alright, enough of that. It looks like they are going to go on to that Ancient Apparition. Ancient Apparition manages to get his ultimate off, the Ice Blast, but they do pick off the Shadow Demon. Doesn't look like anything else is happening. AM blinks away to safety, getting hit by that Ice Blast and taking a decent amount of damage. But look how kind of held back they are. As you can see, just like complete map control being displayed by the Dire squad. That early gem pickup pretty much counter-warded as many wards as they possibly could, and I'm sure they know that the ward is up onto that high ground there, as well as the sentry, so once they're 5, maybe they'll go to dewarding that, as it is a little bit unsafe and could be a potential pickoff for the Radiant if they decide to ward it right now. But absolutely perfect item choices. That BKB did a lot of work, perfectly baiting the Chaos Knight into dying there. The Blink was picked up relatively early, even the Vlads for the extra pushing power before going for Manta. Everything has just been really well thought out, very smart. Oh man, the 4-second stun onto this gyrocopter. Is he gonna get his BKB off with that excellently played split earth? They're gonna try to go onto this Chaos Knight. He isn't even gonna use his BKB here. So it's great play. The TP coming the way of the Keeper of the Light, but look how much damage Anti-Mage does, and he wants more. He's gonna try to go onto this Darkseer. Darkseer losing a little bit of mana, decides, you know what, it's a little bit risky for now. So we're just gonna back out and push together. Unfortunately, this is a full health tower onto this bot lane, but with 2 heroes down, they can definitely do what they want without really feeling a kind of pressure coming their way, except of course with that wall. The Blink forward as well onto this Darkseer. Wow, look at the amount of damage going his way. The Blink yet again, Anti-Mage picking up the kill. 0-0-0 becomes 3-0-1 relatively quickly, and work is being done. The Ice Blast hitting 2 heroes though, Anti-Mage as well as the Gyrocopter, and the Illuminate is going to hit the Gyrocopter. Anti-Mage blinking away to safety, but at the same time, I said safety, man, he wants more. They're going to do a lot of work here. Oh my god, look at the damage output. The mech being picked up by the Magnus, used absolutely flawlessly as well there. Unfortunately, they don't get the right PL there, but what a solid performance coming the way of First Departure. They want to win this game for sure. Demonic Purge going the way from the Shadow Demon, as well as an excellently played Split Earth. That is something we've been seeing all game. That combo, Lubby as well as Hoot A, just playing flawless Dota. They are definitely on their A games, and really their A+ games, I should say. 33-13, 22 minutes in, 25,000 gold advantage coming their way. The AA blast comes, but it is futile as the GG is called by Clan Odd, and First Departure makes their way into the semifinals, showing how strong of a team they really are. What a game.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack. Radiant's middle barracks has fallen. Radiant's middle barracks has fallen. Radiant's middle
Some
tower
friendly
is
words
under
of
attack.
advice by Winter Snow there before he leaves the game. Make sure you win this competition. They want to lose to the winners.
Radiant's top barracks are under
But
Radiant's
a
top
real
barracks
winning
has
performance here
fallen.
from First
Radiant's
Departure,
top
making their way, of
barracks
course,
has
as I mentioned before, into the best of 3
Dire now
matches, the
have mega
semifinals.
creeps.
I'm going to pop up right now who they are going to be playing against in the semifinals. Let me just check that out right now. It looks like they're going to be playing the winner between Myth Trust and Neolution Esports International. Another team that really loves their signature picks with that PL. Just waiting for the game, of course, to end right now. There it goes. Great execution there. They picked their strategy. They knew exactly what they had to do. They didn't even rotate their aggressive tri-lane because that aggressive tri-lane was exactly where they needed it to be. And it did work. So just well thought out, well played. Exceptional game.